It happens all the time. An actor auditioning for a role, whether it's on Zoom or in person, finishes the scene and then looks to the casting director or the producer with an inquisitive look. That look is often hopeful or an expression of, how was I? Sometimes the actor might even say, or something like that, in an effort to deflect the need for approval. Oh boy, it's an uncomfortable moment for everyone. Well, that got me to thinking about what actors think casting is thinking. I'm going to tell you in this episode of Casting Actors Cast.
It's time for another episode of Casting Actors Cast, insights for actors from a casting director. Here he is, your host, Jeffrey Dreisbach.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Casting Actors Cast. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach, casting director at McCorkle Casting in New York. How are you? I hope you're having a good day. It feels really great to be back in the saddle after a couple of weeks, a week or so ago. I took some time off. I'm back and looking really forward to sharing this episode. You know, it rarely happens where I kind of have to struggle. Sometimes I struggle with, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about in this episode. I'm not sure what to do. And then I have a dream or I have a thought. And guess what? That thought then kind of just explodes. Well, that's today's episode. I had a thought that maybe actors might be better served if they understood the process by which a casting director looks at your audition. So I hope you have some fun with this today. I hope that you stick around. For those of you who are regular listeners to the podcast and those of you who have written really nice reviews, I can't thank you enough. It's been very, very exciting. I really look forward to bringing you as many episodes as I can, as long as there are people who are, writing to me and letting me know that you're out there. I am very, very motivated to continue to share my experience as a casting director, former actor, now giving back what wasn't given to me when I was an actor. So I really appreciate all of the attention and focus that you've been able to give to the podcast. Please go to the website, castingactorscast, all one word.com. You're going to find some freebies there if you fill out the form that says dive into the talent pool. That's going to take you to a free video called Casting Secrets, What They Don't Tell You. That's also going to take you to a book that I wrote on doing voiceover work called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio, the voiceover workshop for professional actors. It's a 100-page PDF that you can go ahead and download. You can read it on your device. It has all kinds of exercise, all kinds of copy, some really good ideas for how to put together an excellent demo. So you might want to check that out. Again, these are absolutely free of charge just because I love doing this stuff and I would love to have you hang around. So finally, my shout out to my good friends at Actors Connection, actorsconnection.com. That's all you have to do is just look up Actors Connection, Google it, and you're going to find in New York that all of the classes are online. And this is really an amazing way of getting to work with casting directors, agents, managers, professionals in the business that are currently working in the business that are giving you really good information. I love this program and it has served me so well for so long. And I would love for you to check them out. That's actorsconnection.com/New York. So now let's talk about how casting directors watch your audition. What are the ways in which they process your work when you are either doing a self-tape or doing a Zoom audition or even live? Because you know what? We're doing more and more live in-person auditions lately, especially for theater. But for film and television, we are still in the sort of self-submit tape stuff. But I believe that we're going to be seeing callbacks and chemistry reads for film and television being done in person. So that's something to definitely look forward to. So what are casting directors thinking? Well, first of all, you know what? Let's talk about what casting directors are not thinking. A casting director is not saying to themselves, oh, this actor is bad. The casting director is not thinking, I wonder why they chose to wear that. The casting director is not thinking, oh my God, why did they make that choice? The casting director is not thinking, when's lunch? It doesn't happen. The casting director is simply trying to see you in the role with the behavior, the energy, and the emotional vocabulary that fits the parameters of the character. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because and while there are many ways to accomplish this, casting is basically there to see if you are a good fit. Period. Do you fulfill the vision of what the project is all about? Period. So, lest you think we're making derogatory statements in our heads about you, you've got to let that go. The reality is, just like an actor, casting really depends on making sure they're bringing in the talent that fulfills the vision of what the project is all about. And so I've known many, many casting directors over the years. I don't know all of them, and I can't speak for all of them. I can just speak for the way in which we work at McCorkle Casting. And you know what? We've achieved a level of success over a long period of time that I'm very, very proud of. So I can speak to that. But don't waste your energy on thinking in terms of the way you might think about other people. Casting directors are professionally trained to see if you make the grade as far as the vision of the project is concerned. I hope that makes sense. So let's talk about the casting director. Here's how a casting director actually watches your audition. Now, I want you to think of this in this order as well, because the order of the process that a casting director uses to evaluate your audition is equally important, because it's not just a general, I'm going to watch your audition and see if you're good or not. There is a specific series of steps that most casting directors put themselves through, and because they've done it for a very long period of time, it almost becomes second nature. But I've broken it down for you so that you can really understand the process. So in this order, number one, the casting director tries to remove any preconceptions about you before the audition. In other words, they try to let go of anything that might hinder their ability to evaluate your talent, evaluate your choices, evaluate your skill set. So removing any preconception is an active thing that most casting directors do in order to remain neutral and available to the choices that you make in the audition. Number two, this is often forgotten by many actors. The casting director wants you to be great in and for the role. If you think the casting director is somebody you have to win over, you're wasting a lot of energy in that thought process. Every casting director that brings you in for an audition wants you to book the damn job. They're on your side. So, understanding that the casting director wants you to be fantastic. Why? Well, think about it. If I bring you in and you book the role, I get hired again. I get respected. My credibility goes up. All of those reasons really dictate that if I do make the choice of thinking that you would be right for the role, you coming in is me going, you know what? I really want you to do this. I want you to nail this. Book it. So the casting director wants you to be great in and for the role. Number three, casting directors ask themselves the following. Are they experiencing a truthful emotional connection? In other words, they're asking themselves that question. They're not asking the actor that question. They're saying to themselves, am I experiencing a truthful emotional connection? In other words, when you start with a neutral environment and the actor is sharing their experience, through the character. That connected tissue is truthful. When it is truthful, it becomes very impressive. So casting directors will ask themselves, are they experiencing that same truth that you are sharing? That's really, I think, what I'm trying to say here. So what casting directors say to themselves are, I just want to get a feeling from the actor by the choices that they make. Number 4, the casting director will ask themselves, does the actor physically match the vision for the role? So physicality does become an important aspect to the overall audition process. Why? Well, listen, sometimes that producer or that director who's hired us has a very specific idea about what they want the character to look like. It's not just about the acting, it's also about the physicality. And so if that actor fulfills the vision, but then also physically matches the vision for what the producer or the director is looking for, then that's another reason why that actor would get a call back. Make sense? Number 5, the casting director observes and takes a look at and experiences the technique and the training that the actor is using to play the part. So it's one thing to have and receive an impression from the actor about the part they're playing, but it's also, can you see their technique? Do they look and share confidence? Are they in touch with the joy of performance? What is the technique that the actor is using, and does it succeed in accomplishing the goals that the actor has set out for them to be able to play the part? Number 6, the casting director then processes the entire experience of your audition for believability and impact. If you are believable and if your work is impactful from all of those previous choices, then we move to number 7. The casting director makes the decision to pursue the talent or not. Do we take it to the next level? Is it a callback? Is it a chemistry read? Perhaps the actor has submitted a self-tape and they're so close that I will pick up the phone and I'll call the actor and I say, you know what? Your self-submit video was really, really close. I would love for you to make this adjustment. And if the actor is open to that and does that and it fits, then I'm sending that to the producer or the director for a callback. I'm saying, I think this person's got it in them. The producer or the director is the ultimate arbiter of that decision, but I can certainly make an influential impact on the talent, especially in that scenario. So you see, I don't know, casting directors are human, just like an actor is. Their ability, their talent is based on their life experience, just like an actor. And I guess the question then becomes, you guys, if knowing what the casting director is now thinking, if you listen to those steps and you think it through, you might not think that this is really useful. Some of you might say this is not useful at all to know what casting directors are thinking. After all, does it really matter what others think of your work? Well, you know, some might say that it matters because they're judging you, and that matters to booking the job. Well, I understand that. And to some degree, that's true. However, the other side of that argument is your choices are yours, and your opinions about the truth shouldn't matter. Does that make sense? So there's that phrase that says, it's none of my business what others think of me. And you can apply that here, but you know what? That's a debate. And here's what I think. When you have a clear understanding of the process, then you know what? You're in a better position to express yourself with more confidence. You are not being judged, but rather you are a collaborator in the process. And when you understand how it works, you can work more honestly, more creatively, and you know what? Even more spontaneously. That, no matter the outcome, is an excellent place to be. So when you have an audition, when you're putting together a self-tape, when you have to show up in person, the question does not, I wonder what they think of me. The question must be, I am going to do my very best, and if it doesn't work out, I know that I've done my very best. So the feedback that an actor should be proud of after an audition is over is when the casting director brings you in for another project. In other words, if you didn't get that particular role that you were auditioning for, but the casting director brings you in for a later role, that's the best feedback you can get, because that's the casting director saying, I love your work. I love your talent. I think you would be perfect for this role as well. So bringing you in more than once is the best kind of feedback you're going to get from our casting director. And guess what? That applies to theater, that applies to film, that applies to television. So I hope you found this really, really useful. I enjoyed sharing that with you today. I'd love to know what you think. You can reach me via email, castingactorscast@gmail.com. Please don't forget about the website, castingactorscast.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Casting Actors Cast.
Thank you for joining Casting Actors Cast. Please don't forget to review, like, and share Casting Actors Cast wherever you get your podcast videos. Thanks! I'm Megan Grace Martinez.